It's all shook up. Day 2, Dakar 2022. There was navigation issues. There were rocks. There are stuff. And we have some famous racing drivers, a father and son, Ian and Jordan Pepper, in the studio with us. Greetings and salutations, race fans, motorsport lovers, and others, and in particular, Dakar, because this is January and Dakar rules. As per usual, we joined somewhere on the southern tip of Africa, deep, close to the ocean, by Steffi Vetter. Steffi, thank you very much for joining us, and welcome again. It's been a crazy day.
Colin, I've actually especially done my hair for tonight because I feel so frazzled about what's happened today. I'm opening a can of worms now, but that's how it is. I feel helpless, I feel frustrated, I'm disappointed. I feel like the guts of the Dakar have been ripped out on the first big stage. What do you guys think?
Steffi, I think that can of worms has been properly opened, not by us, but by people actually on the route. We're not joined, for those of you watching who miss Andrew the Horn Dog, because he's lost at sea. His navigation he went for a drive on the sea, as one stupidly should, and he's now lost. He is still deep in the sea, somewhere close to where they have great white sharks. But in studio, Ian Pepper, Jordan Pepper, thank you so much for joining us.
Always
fabulous to have a famous racing father and son with us.
Yeah, I'm just riding off my dad's fame while I'm here in South Africa. No, it's good always to be here. You caught me just before I head back overseas again. It's been nice to come back to South Africa, chill a bit, enjoy playing 100,000 games of golf, playing with my dad again after he's broken his legs, ankles, ribs, shoulders, wrists, everything. You can do something now. So we've just been spending some nice family time together, and yeah, it's just always nice to be here.
Because champion driver in America with K-Pax. You leave Bentley, having helped them win in Australia at Bathurst. You go to America, first of all, what you're going to do, then you go to America, and you became a superstar in America.
Look, I don't know, I guess it's the same in any sort of motorsport aspect. When you get accustomed to your brand, your situation that you're in, you really start to feel comfy with that environment. And racing's, in my opinion, a lot about confidence over anything else. And when you get confident and comfortable in the situation, you just keep building, building, building. And when I switched, I was like, I don't know what to expect, but the only way to do it is just to say, if you can drive anything with the steering wheel and pedals, you should be able to do it. And I just had to really dig deep, work really hard to get to understand the car a lot, and leaned off a lot of people close to me who I could use to help with some tips and tricks and stuff. And yeah, it went really well. It wasn't the strongest field in terms of depth, but had a lot of strength in terms of the ability of top-notch drivers, and really happy with it. It was a building year for the team with the car, because they also switched from Bentley to Lambo, and for myself, and to get a championship, win a lot of races, it's always nice. So loved it.
Winning is the best feeling ever. We're going to come back and discuss a little bit more about Lamborghinis, Bentleys, old men falling off their bikes, and the spirit, the gees of racing amongst the South Africans. Speaking of which, fresh from being massaged, fresh off the massage table, we hope the ending of your massage was good. Stuart Gregory joins us. 53rd position today. Stuart Gregory, what a magnificent ride you had today. How are you feeling now?
You're driving cars.
Ride, drive.
Yeah,
sorry. We've got the blackness of Stuart at the moment, but he'll join us. Steffi, that ride, there he is. Stuart, your massage, are you feeling stronger now, and your bike is good?
Sorry guys, I was just trying to hook up to hear you guys. I couldn't hear too good, but yeah, just had a massage and bike's all good, and yeah, we're ready for glad the marathon definitely. Pretty cold here though, but yeah, everything's good for now. One day down and 13 more to go, I think it is. Lost count already.
Stuart, where did you find that speed today? I think it was, coming 53rd, good 20 positions up from where you normally come. Was it just because you hung on the cable, or did you have good success with the navigation?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Last year, I took it a lot easier than my capability. I kind of was committed to try a finish after my DNF in 2019. So, yeah, I had a little bit more speed in the bag, but I wanted to get a Dakar finish in the middle around the neck. So, yeah, now we've got a bit less pressure on and find a little more speed, which I've got. I'm still not riding it. But yeah, we've got to be safe in Melee Moto. And I hit a bit of luck with them. I followed some people and had them up to the refuel, and then after refuel I was on my own. And I'd love to say I navigated perfectly, but I think it was a little bit more luck. But yeah, we'll take the luck, the good with the bad.
Stuart, you earlier when we first spoke to you this evening, late this afternoon your time, you said you had to do a little bit of work on your bike. Now you live your whole life is in one little steel trommel with your spares and everything that you need to run your bike. How absolutely crazy is it to be able to do Dakar out of a trommel?
Yeah, I'm just walking over. Hopefully we can get to see it. Yeah, there's quite a few guys here, and we've got the box here, and flew all the tools in from South Africa. So you have to fly with a hammer, but yeah, it's not too bad. If you look after the bike, it's not too crazy. Pretty much everything inside there, which we've got to do in the race, and yeah, it's not too bad. We did oil and oil filter today. I didn't change tires, but yeah, I think everything. You've got to be a little bit capable with tools, but it's nothing impossible if you look after the bike.
Stuart, I'm just going to ask you from our racing together over here, your main pit crew, are you missing them, your wife and your daughters? That they're not there to help give you goggles and
no, very
change
much
your
so.
tires and...
Yeah, they've been really sad. I think we flew out early, as everyone knew. My little one, Shane, the 10-year-old, she's been almost every day. So yeah, they're all starting a new school when we go home. So yeah, it's a bit sad. It's a difficult time of year for us. South Africans, it's December time. It's family time. It's holiday time. We all had to quarantine, so we didn't get before we came. So yeah, it's been tough. It's tough every year. So yeah, I do miss them, and yeah.
Because I mean, you're one of the few guys here.
And the school's coming up, but I think they know how passionate I am and how much I love Dakar. So I think the family always support us.
Yeah, you're one of the few guys here that it's a proper family effort when we go to nationals or Natal racing or whatever. So yeah, good luck to you, boy.
Yeah, no thanks, Ian. I think you've got your son who races and your daughter. Maybe one day my daughter. It's kind of my bucket list. Maybe one day to be in the side by side with my daughter, but she's only now, so a lot can change by then. But yeah, I like to try and feed the family as much as we can.
Stuart, tomorrow you've got about 40 odd Ks of racing. Is your plan pretty much the same as it was today? Don't get lost, look after the bike, and get to the end one day at a time.
Yeah, very much so. I think the plan's going to stick the same. Try to get in a nice group, and I'm not going to take too many chances. Yeah, there was a bit of dust today, and some rocks a bit dangerous. So we just try ride each day as it comes to you. I think we'll get more and more fatigued as time goes on. So it's just yeah, as I say, take one day at a time.
Steffi, talk to your boy. He's the biker chick, and here's your boy.
Hello, Steffi here. How's it going?
Yeah, good, Steph. Oh, good to see you guys. And yeah,
So good to see you.
watch the race. I was watching it last night in my tent before I went to
Stu,
bed.
you're lying fifth overall
My sleep
in the
didn't
Mother
go so
Moto
well.
now.
I woke up at 11:30 and my inflatable mattress had punctured, so I was like, I loved watching
Yeah,
the race.
I hear gym mats don't work so well in Saudi.
Yeah, no, it's not a gym mat. It's a nice inflatable one. It's the most luxury I've ever had at Dakar. But yeah, they seem to have fixed it. I left it with the chaps when I went out riding today, so they seem to have fixed it. So, no, that's not me. No.
Those pits are busy there, Stuart.
Yeah. Sorry, the French guys just come up to you and talk to you while you're on your phone and wanted you there. So, yeah, it's pretty busy. Sharon was getting an interview over here somewhere. There's Werner. So, yeah, I think Sharon's a hero. John Kelly just became a Dakar hero, so I think flying the flag for Southern Africa. Yeah.
Stu, you're lying 5th overall in the Malamoto, which is fantastic, and I'm so proud of you. I just want to ask you as well, that kit of yours is looking so good. You are obviously proudly representing Dragon Energy. What is your actual goal for this? Obviously it's to finish, but where would you like to finish in the overall? Are you chasing Benji?
No, realistically, I think Benji's on a league of his own. I think maybe Sharon could maybe catch Benji. I don't think I've got that pace, but yeah, my goal was actually to be in the top 50. Anything below 40 would be great for me. I have to be realistic. But yeah, I think the Dragon box is looking great, and yeah, thanks for the sponsors that have helped me get your Dragon and Fox and Plan Ahead, Landini Tractors, Brian Taylor. I've probably forgotten a few. Justin and Matt from Farmers Agricare. I think it's a big effort to get here 3 times. I think a few people have said, how many times am I going to go? Yeah, we'll probably come back again. But thanks for all the sponsors that help us get here.
Stuart, we also got to thank every single person who buys macadamia nuts in South Africa. We need to eat macadamia nuts and drink the macadamia oil by the gallon to help Stuart Gregory get there again. Stuart, I just want to say from the whole of South Africa and from us here in the studio, a huge thank you. We know that your time is precious, your rest time is the most valuable commodity that you've got over there. Thank you so much for taking time out to chat with us. And man, we are with you all the way. When it gets tough tomorrow, just think of us, we're right there. Good luck, have fun. We'll talk again before the end of Dakar.
Cool.
Cheers,
no,
Stu,
thanks
all
guys,
the
and
best.
yeah, well done to you and Steffi and Johan and everyone. I think it's a big effort you guys all put in, and it's great to see something for Southern Africa. So yeah, well done to all you guys, and keep up the good work on your side. I'll keep watching race day as my nighttime viewing.
Good luck, Stu. Take care. Stay safe.
Last night in the comments, we said, viewers' comments and all that sort of thing, and Horndog says we got a viewer from the Stuart was watching last night. It's absolutely fantastic, really magic. We're going to get to some of the bike stuff and the cars and the drama of Dakar today, but I want to go just a little bit and talk about South Africans in America. We've got some fathers and sons. We've got some wonderful pictures, Geordie. And thanks to Graham Goodwin of dailysportscar.com for the pictures. To win in America for Lamborghini, I mean, it's big. It really is big.
Yeah, look, I think to win anywhere in the world, any championship, whatever it is, it's quite tough. I've had a rough few years, to be honest. It hasn't been easy in plain sailing, but when you're putting yourself up against the best in the world and stuff like that, it's never going to be easy. And the switch from Bentley, which was always my home, they gave me the opportunity at the beginning. It was quite sad, and I didn't know how I'd feel moving on. And quite glad that chapter was closed for now. Never know what happens in the future, but that chapter was closed, and I actually could move on to something else, because you gain a lot more respect when you're able to perform in another brand as well. It's not just, I won races because the Bentley was good.
It's not just another brand. They're two completely different philosophies of motorcars.
Yeah, exactly. One front engine, quite long wheelbase car, to one mid engine, quite nimble cars. They are very different, and the way you extract performance out of them is very, very different as well. So, it was a good thing. I enjoyed racing in America, and kind of similar that I had was back to South Africa, back to my roots. The tracks are super old school, no track limits issues. You got tarmac, grass, gravel, walls, stuff like that. There's no tarmac, a white line, more tarmac, curves, more tarmac that you can just play around with. So I enjoyed it. The tracks were bumpy, old school, narrow, big curbs. Everything was fun to race. So it was enjoyable. Some races didn't go to plan, but you're never going to have a perfect season. We won, I think, 10 out of 13 races. So I think as season goes, I'll remember.
That's not too bad.
No, not too bad.
The big differences between those cars, you talk about extracting performance out of different ways. And can you just give us a bit more of an insight? What was the way to get a Bentley quick? And then how did you get that unbelievable speed so quickly out of the Lambo?
Look, all GT3 cars have ABS traction control. That's just a similarity in the class. That's part of the rim. And with the engine sitting in the front, the rear was super secure. So you could be very aggressive in the way you approached high-speed corners. You had to maximize those corners because that's where you're strong. But in the slow-speed stuff, where the trick was to be able to get the car to turn as well as possible and get the power down, because that's its weaknesses. You have to for sure maximize its strengths, but it's kind of easy for anyone to do that. It's more about kind of maximizing the weaknesses, which was putting power down in the Bentley was very crucial, and also getting the car to be able to rotate and turn in the slow speed corner. So it's a lot of playing around with the feet, steering wheel, all that sort of stuff. It's hard to explain how, but it's kind of something you just learn to do by feeling and through your bum. That's the most crucial point in a car. And then the Lambo, which was kind of the opposite. Also, the Bentley was also very good on tire management, where the Lambo uses its rear tires quite a lot. So on new tires, you could extract a lot more performance. You could lean on the car a lot, which was really nice and enjoyable. But one thing that I was really struggling with was I had huge rear tire degradation. And then when those cars start to oversteer, because the weight is right in the middle, it becomes very snappy, very edgy. So it was all about controlling that, managing that.
So learning from with the Bentley and the Lambo,
Yeah.
Lambo more rear tire limited than the Bentley.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Because the Bentley, you could kill the rear tires on traction if you couldn't get the power down. But the Lambo, because you lean and load it a lot, you really have to be careful with that. And one thing that was very crucial, and a tip I got from one of my roommates, which is I share with the Van Linde brothers. We lived together for the last 5 years. Is you really, because he's obviously so good in the Audi and that same platform car, it's really about overlapping the throttle and the brake quite a lot. And the Lambo is very sensitive in terms of aero balance and pitch. So you're always trying to keep the front very powerful. But at the same time, you have the car on the edge of oversteer, and you're always playing backwards and forwards on the throttle brake, which is kind of a tip that it's not easy to do. But when he said it to me, it clicked. Luckily, he said it to me quite early on. He didn't have to help me. He could watch me struggle, but it helped me click early on in testing. And you start to just let that become the style. And when you get that right, I think that what makes the difference in a Lambo or an Audi, for example, those types of cars, to extract that last little bit.
Absolutely fascinating. It's unreal. We've got rain here. Last night there was a bucket load of rain in Dakar. We're going to come back and talk more racing,
in Dakar.
proper racing cars. But we're in Pretoria in the Vatswaye place. There's brilliant cars. When you get a chance, come and have a look at it. So it's raining here. But the rain in Dakar has played some havoc, and we have an update, the result of the rain. Bradley Cox was so kind to send us, and Steffi, we're coming to results. Yes, we hear you. But the rain, it's played havoc with the plans of Dakar. So let Bradley share the news for us. Fritzy, roll that clip of Bradley.
How's it, everyone? Quick update. So we're supposed to have a marathon day tomorrow and the stage 2 and 3. So what that means is we have no assistance after the stage tomorrow. So we have to work on the bikes, and all the riders have to work on their own bikes, and we all stay all together like one big happy Dakar family, the riders. But that's unfortunately been cancelled because heavy rain in the area. And the bivouac where we were going to do all of this has been flooded. So yeah, that's just no marathon day basically for this marathon, which I'm not complaining about. But yeah, I don't know if they'll maybe put one in the second week, but at the moment doesn't look like that. So.
Well, with that, we've got to go to Steffi Vetter, who's even more frazzled. Steffi, the mix-ups with the navigation, and in particular one little waypoint, and now chopping and changing with the marathon, and then the stuff with the factor of whatever of 5 in the beginning. There's a bit of a smell developing around this bike race, isn't there?
You know what, Colin, it's so interesting today, especially because we don't actually have all the information right now. Look, we know that the marathon stage has been cancelled. We know that they're moving the bivvy to another place, LL Kusamai, and that the stage is still 338 kilometers. But what we don't know is where the link's going to be. We don't know if they're going to put another marathon stage in. That hasn't been released. We know that there were huge issues, and we have had people all day just asking us to discuss this hidden waypoint, which was between PK 240 and PK 280 today. The fact is, we can talk about it, we can go around in circles for ages, but until we actually have the correct information, it's really not going to make any difference. We know that there was an issue. We know that elite riders got lost. We know that FIA top teams got lost. It shook up the entire cars top 10. With the bikes, you can see where the problems were. Ricky lost a chunk of time. Skylar lost a wee bit of time, but he still had a great day. You see, he loved the hard pack. He loved the fact that there was a bit of rain. He was out there, but I have to go there because I called it last night. Mason Klein from America, come on.
4th overall, if I'm reading the results correctly.
But I make it by 5, but hey, let's go 1 or 2 positions.
I mean,
it's just
on
brilliant.
the stage, not overall. On the stage. I mean, it says 4 here. It's got to be right.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, look, Chucky Sanders, I think, is still going to win it. I mean, Chucky's in a complete league of his own on that, gas of his. And Sam also did well. Look, the results have been a bit scrambled because penalties have come in because of that blasted waypoint. But I mean, Pablo Quintanilla is still up there, Matthias is still up there, Adrian is there, Rossi's still in the top 10. So it has got a bit, shook up today. Santolino came in from nowhere, which was, out of left field as well. But it all had to do with that hidden waypoint. The guys got lost.
Now,
what do you say to that?
That's life. You're going racing, you get lost. And earlier when we spoke to Brad, he said he got lost with Toby at 2 waypoints. So they battled. He said they lost half an hour looking for 2 waypoints. But then again, like we were talking earlier, if they're only giving them a 15-minute penalty for missing a waypoint, I would just hang on the cable, and if I haven't found it in a minute, I'm going. If you're only going to get a 15-minute, I don't think it's enough for shooting past a waypoint. I mean, you lose 30 minutes by missing, or 15 minutes missing one, and the guys lost 45 minutes trying to find the thing. So
I do know there's an accumulative penalty, so you don't want to screw it up.
Rack it up. It's like track limits. You do it 2-3 times and you get a penalty. Yeah, you do 1, you get 15. Does it escalate?
We've got some pictures that we'll get to a little bit later, just on following the tracks. But the tracking was a nightmare today on 2 reasons. Ian, you were mentioning that you battled to get onto the app and all that, and we become so reliant on some of the information that comes to us, and we want it now, and it's got to be right, and it's got to be accurate. But following all these tracks are like spider webs all over that desert. It was a nightmare. That's why you had an interesting day, Steffi.
Yeah, no, we nearly changed our supper from a braai to spaghetti bolognese, because honestly, that section there was just spaghetti junction. I mean, at one stage we got a message from guys on the ground that are actually there that said, we wished you could actually see it. There were just cars and bikes facing in all different directions. They were going around in circles. We've seen footage of some of the bikes, some of the KTM guys, some of the Honda guys all together, literally going around in circles. Then the cars came into the mix. So I don't think we have any idea of how serious and how bad it was on the ground. We think of possibly cars going, or the bikes are getting messed up, but to actually have seen it, I would love to see footage of, so sorry, my alarm's going off, but that happens somewhere on the southern tip of Africa. But, if you know, it was luck. Like Stuart said, he was lucky and he didn't miss that waypoint. Some were not that lucky. And, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I want to
really,
talk about
really
that waypoint, that particular waypoint, when we get to the cars, because there's some stuff coming. So for those of you who want to ask questions, please ask them. I will go through all the questions tonight and come up with the answers tomorrow, because we still haven't heard from Andrew Horn. He's lost at sea in a little rubber duck, and he navigates as well as some of the oaks on Dakar did today. But he's missed many waypoints.
Missed a wave point.
Good one. Well, we were talking about racing in America, and we've started to see the American invasion of the Middle East again, but this time on motorbikes. And in answer to one of the questions from a viewer last night, yes, Mason Klein is the youngest guy, but there's your American boy. And Skylar last year was, our chosen one. You reckon this kid has got the head to stay there?
Child. I absolutely do. Colin. I've been watching him for 2 years, racing in America, and he's extraordinarily put together. I mean, he's so quiet. As Ian said before we were chatting, he looks like he should be playing a flute in the orchestra, but in actual fact, he's this incredibly technically proficient rider, and he's doing really well. I mean, he was only 14 minutes behind the leaders. Granted, some of them got lost, but he is definitely one to watch, definitely.
And he's 19, which is phenomenal.
And he's 1920, I think, going, yeah. I mean, obviously, Skylar was so up on today. He loved today. He lost some time. Skylar's right up there. He's as happy as Larry. Ricky Brabeck, absolutely gutted. He said it was possibly one of the worst, toughest days in his rally raid career. And not forgetting, this is someone who has done 7 consecutive Dakars and has won it. And for him to make a statement like that, I think just shows you how massive and how difficult today was.
I mean, if you have a look at it, I mean, you got Toby Price, Brabeck, all of those oaks are now, they're nearly an hour off the pace today. For those sort of caliber riders and how many times they've done Dakar, to not be able to find a waypoint, and they previous winners and podium finishes in the past 6-7 years,
and you've
got to know there was a problem. It's not like maybe Brad and Mason and that Mason got lucky and Brad didn't, and whatever the case is, that you could understand. They knew boys, maybe tomorrow Brad's lucky and Mason's not, but they're in the same team and they share the same notes and they're helping each other get there. But when the top dogs, there's in the top 5, there's 2 or 3 of them, and then in 40th place is the rest of them. There's got to be a major problem.
You've got to ask yourself, we know that organisers said navigation was going to be very difficult this year. If it's this bad this early, what's it going to be like later on?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, like we see it in our racing, at least in our format, when they're so inconsistent with things, it's when it makes it frustrating, because one day it can be X and the rules a certain way. Like even me, just as an average person not average, but I know a lot about motorsport, watching yesterday, I was like, how did the bikes and the cars do the same route with this timing thing, and our navigation is going to be the talking point, and I don't know what they want to see. Do they want to see Toby Price winning a stage by 50 minutes the one day, and then the next day you're going to have some rookie who nails it, which obviously Mason did today, like finishing up front, but then poor guy is going to be up there in contention, and then he could just miss a waypoint and he's going to be at the back. And in my mind, yeah, they're probably trying to make them focus more on navigation and probably not just going absolutely flat out and keep the race a bit safer that way. Kind of makes sense if I look at it that way logically, but I think it shouldn't be so difficult in that sense, because it
shouldn't be a lottery.
No.
Yeah, because
it's a gamble.
Probably find that one guy was 2 meters further to the right, getting triggered on the waypoint, and the other guy did 55 circles, lost 10 minutes, almost had 10 head-ons. Because at the end of the day, if you talk about safety, but you like,
it's unbelievably dangerous, because
there's cars, bikes, everything going every direction, and rather let them go 10k an hour average quicker and be a bit more safer on a route and finding the waypoint than that. So I don't know. I always watch Dakar. I've always been interested in it. It's something that really excites me. It's so far from what I do, but I enjoy it. But watching that, I just think, oh, I don't want to do.
I mean,
at least if I want to do Dakar, I want to do it as soon as possible before it gets even harder.
We've got to talk about this.
Steffi, what is you're only allowed to miss it, or you've got to be within 20 meters of the waypoint. Is it 20 meters?
Some of them are 20, some are 50, some are 100, depending on which one it was. This was a specific hidden waypoint that had a heading. I think it was a 270 and a 269 heading that's it's tight.
But I mean, I know Mason and Brad at Morocco, they rode around in circles together trying to find a waypoint, and they were 30 meters off of it. And then somehow came past and happened to get it while they're looking. They were half an hour ahead of the guy, got there, and when they found it, they let go. But there were 10 oaks that got there, hadn't found it, and just latched onto them because they knew where they were going.
Yeah, crazy stuff, crazy stuff. Steffi, what...
Colin, you know, the whole thing is, I mean, I'm looking at the top 10 from today, and I mean, I can't even remember when I didn't see Nacho, Toby, Kevin Benavides, Ricky Breivik in the mix. You know, obviously you've got some rookies coming through, but yeah, there's a problem, and I think it's going to get worse. And without the marathon stage, when is that going to come in? When is that going to happen? Have they even addressed that? So, yeah, I think, like I said last night, it's a turkey shoot, and I think it's going to get worse.
Price. He lost 41 minutes driving around in circles trying to find this way. Right, enough about waypoints for now. Let's, we'll get back to it because,
let's talk about our boys. Let's see where our guys ended up today, because you know what, in the bigger scheme of things, there's a lot of them. I mean, we've got, you know, a whole bunch. Rossi, still in the top 10 on the Yamaha, P9, brilliant. Aaron, who's doing so well on the Hero, I mean, he finished P11, and this is all, you know, he's just come straight in, factory team. I think he's doing really, really well.
I'm told that we've got to keep an eye on Heroes going forward. Apparently, Heroes are the way of the future. Apparently. You're
my hero, Colin. We've got Sharon and Brad duking it out in 27th and 33rd place respectively. We've just spoken to Stuart, he's in the 60s. JK's doing really well, 63. We've got Walter and Wagner. Now, Wagner is there to get his medal, 112, and Walter had a much better day. He was not comfortable yesterday, didn't have his rhythm, but he's in the 60s, which is exactly where he wants to be. He's just going to keep going and get that medal. And then Paulo Oliveira, who I personally know nothing about, from Mozambique, P81. I mean, the guys are doing the thing, even though the gaps are enormous.
I mean, it's
bloody good.
It's nothing to. I've played on these stupid bikes in the bush and the desert race the last 4 or 5 years. It's not easy when you get over 50. Eh? I mean, I take my hat off to all of them that are out there doing this, and it's like a bucket list tick. Hey, good luck to them. What I didn't know, is Charon in Malimoto or not? He is Malimoto.
Charon's also in Malimoto. Yeah, and he's also
that's got to be the craziest
right
way
up
of
there
doing
in the
it.
rookies. Crazy.
Absolutely.
Charon,
we've got
when he
four in
finds
Malimoto.
Yeah, I think Charon, when he finds his legs in that Malimoto, I wouldn't be surprised not to see him on the podium for Malimoto, because he's got what it takes, and he doesn't ever attack anything flat out at the beginning. He builds himself in any race that we've been in. He builds himself, and he's there at the end. So he's quite clever for a bike rider.
For a bike rider.
Yeah, for a bike rider. Okay, we won't tell him that we said that. But I actually think we might see Charon on 2 podiums, because he's also up for rookie. You know, he's right up there.
Yes.
So he's duking it out with Mason as well. And then let's not forget about our MotoGP rider, Danilo Petrucci, P13 today. I mean, first time out there, crashing it.
Yeah,
Brad.
That was a poor choice of words.
Yeah, Brad sent us a picture just now. He says this is his new mate, Petrucci. Him and Petrucci are mates now. So, yeah.
But also a nice mix of manufacturers in the overall. And another surprise, I suppose, that the Yamahas haven't exploded yet.
Colin, don't go there.
No, man, that's not
nice. That's not nice. No, and they are doing well.
Yesterday, it was so good that they've got all the KTM people helping them sort it out, and that they're running. I mean, we've got to get Ross to the end of this race. I think it's going to be fantastic. So if I upset anybody from the Tuning Fork company, I deeply apologize, but I'm still surprised that they're going as well as they are.
I think they've done a lot of work on those bikes, eh?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
Let's make no mistake. Right, should we go to some cars? Or do you want to still talk about bikes, Steffi?
Let's go. Let's go to some cars.
2 minutes of cars, back to bikes.
Yes, okay.
There's so many protests and stuff happening with the cars tonight.
Just
it's not going to be
about how cool it was having somebody who's intelligent and able to add knowledge about motorbikes.
So I brought Jordan.
And then you spoil it. So shall we just get I mean, this was an absolute, I was going to say shit show, but apparently it still is. Matthew Balmel has the absolute perfect day of navigating Nasser Al Attiyah to win. And they end up winning by 12 odd minutes. But behind them, all hell breaks loose. And we're going to start with some of the South Africans and where they ended up. So basically, the guys started getting lost. And the first one who gets lost is Carlos Sainz. Gets lost and he starts driving around. And we've got a picture there, Fritzy, that shows the route. Now, if you follow the little turquoise or teal, I think it is, squiggle, that's the track of Carlos. And how they're going around and finding the waypoint. Now that waypoint there is the one that's causing the troubles. So the next one, we go to Carlos number 2, and that's just blown up a little bit. And you can kind of see the level of, they kind of sort of know roughly where it is, but then it's up and down and backwards and forwards. Now, in no ways in hell, in my mind, is that lacquer racing.
Where is it?
It's
on the right.
No, it's in the middle, just above the word at the bottom and that little blue arrow. Oh. It's in there. So then Brian Baragwanath gets lost. And I think so there's Carlos Sainz, also lost. So let's go to the Brian Baragwanath one where he gets lost. Sure. And that is over an hour, I think it's an hour 40. He's driving backwards and forwards. And thankfully, Julien sent us a clip of Brian explaining. So, in his words, this is a top-seeded driver who's got or had a brilliant chance of a top 6 finish. Listen to his explanation of what happened out in the sticks today.
So a tough day today, basically from the known waypoint where we left in the camel grass dunes today. It was camel grass dunes. The instruction was to follow main tracks, but there were tracks all over the place. And one of the instructions was sort of to keep a average of 10-degree cap, which we tried to do, but all that did was take us east of the main track where we were supposed to be. So very difficult to actually know what the main track was today. And we ended up we just couldn't find the main track on the west side where we were supposed to be. Eventually we did find a helicopter which was way on the end of the areas where we were circling, and luckily he put us onto the main track. We didn't find the hidden waypoint we were looking for, but at least we found the main track and we were able to come home. But very frustrating. We were doing circles with Carlos Sainz and all the guys, and yeah, definitely not a day of racing. It was a very frustrating instruction which didn't make any sense. Not very cool, but I guess some guys got it right. We didn't. It's unfortunate, but we live to fight another day.
Now, Ian, I look at that and I see a guy who is unbelievably disappointed, frustrated, and almost helpless.
I agree with him. It's just, at this level, there shouldn't be that sort of misinformation given out by organisers or what they're doing at that. I mean, they were not talking about going down the road to Swartkops for a club day. I mean, everybody's spending. This is World Championship, it's FIA, it's everything, and there's millions and millions of euros that have been thrown at all of this. So if the organisers have made a mistake, you've got to go back and say, well, they've made a mistake, unfortunately, and that's life. Or in the F1 thing, what happened at the last race, the boss made a mistake and we must all go on with life.
I think he was right, but that's
another story. But this looks like it's going down that Formula One route. And if they're going to go and protest or whatever, their rights are there. Obviously, we don't want to see it with Glyn Hall and them, but we've got other South Africans that are there that are battling on the same thing. So Glyn and his team, which is proudly South African, Gazoo Racing with Japan backing.
They got it right.
They got it right, but only with 2 guys.
Yeah.
The rest of them battled. So, yeah, I don't know. I'd hate to be in a steward's room tonight or tomorrow.
And we'll talk about that steward's room because there's more stuff. Let's go to the next picture we've got there, just in terms of the navigation. This is the particular area where the poo started to develop and things, and I don't know enough about it, but we're going to get some of the guys to come in. Rob Howie's coming in to talk about this, and we're going to just work through the navigation. But the important part is that there's a heading, and the heading seems wrong. And when Brian talks about the average of 2 settings, this is one of the tablets they've got. The next picture shows the setup inside the car where they've got 2 different tablets. Now this wasn't taken on the stage, this is on a tar road, but it just gives you the idea. You've got 2 different cap headings, and this is actually in, I think it's in the Toyota, and it just gives you an idea so that you've got 2 different units that tell you where you're going.
Up to the other one.
One's a backup to the other one. You can set them slightly differently, and that's the story. So the follow-up on that is that Audi had a nightmare. We'll get onto that. Let's talk about the rest of the stuff. Henk Ladeghan, we really wanted and had high hopes of Henk and Brett, another biker who's crossed over he saw the light and is doing good stuff with Henk in the car. And they hit a rock and removed the suspension. Now, Fritz, that picture with the rocks on the stage, just give you an idea of what the rocks look like. And that is actually Baragwanath in the car as well. Now, those rocks are big, they're hard, and they don't go anywhere.
That's
and
mountains.
If you say again?
A rock is this big.
Yeah,
those
are earthlets. So
those aren't lurkers.
No, definitely not they're mini planets. And those are the kind of things that when you hit them at high speed, they can remove rocks, which Stefan Peter Hansel did, right sort of early, about 150 odd kilos exactly. So car number 200 got broken. Next one, please, Fritz. And that is not a small rock that got hit with a little bit of energy. Talking about energy, it is massive to mur a wheel off that fine piece of German engineering. And if you take a real close look at it, it's actually ripped. It hasn't got, normally those things have got fail-safe almost fuses in them. So the suspension breaks first before it rips the mounting out of the chassis. So that's all got broken. And that Audi e-tron is just a piece of machinery. I'm quite a fan of the electric Invasion because it's got instant horsepowers and torques. Just roll this little walk around this kind of beast. Let's have a quick chat about it. This comes from Julian Hardy, by the way.
Look, Calvin, obviously, he drives for Audi. He was saying that the technology that Audi had when they were doing LMP1, which is as crazy as Formula One, the engineers almost seem to think that this, in terms of software management, is even more technical, even more challenging for them to get right. So he just doesn't understand the drivers out there. Mechanical failures like that obviously is one issue, but God forbid they have a software issue, they're going to be stuck there for nights and days trying to solve that problem themselves.
It is a technical masterpiece. Just have a look at that. There's some of the aero stuff on this. It is.
Really,
look at that.
It's crazy to see.
It's a piece of beauty.
It is crazy to see, but I don't know. I just think you can't beat petrol, to be honest. It's been around for so much longer. Yeah, hopefully Audi achieve their goal that they win with the electric vehicle, and their philosophy still is powered by a petrol engine charging the batteries. So
I mean, some of the cynics.
Crazy to think, but it's just to think about it.
You've got a 2-litre DTM turbo motor charging your batteries.
That's running right at max BMEP, total efficiency and everything. Basically, it's like buying a Prius and then going to Builder's Warehouse and buying a generator and sticking it in the boot. But just a bit more sophisticated.
This is a lot quieter than your average Ryobi generator.
But it is cool to think, and I think if you look at Audi's history and whatever they've done, they normally succeed. So it's probably not going to be this year.
It doesn't take him long to succeed.
I would say within 3 years they'll win it.
I think in Glenn's operation with what they've got there with Toyota and their new car and stuff, it looks awesome. And watching it from the outside, I don't think there's anyone better than NASA at the moment. Obviously, Stefan and Carlos have challenged him, have beaten him a lot more than he's beaten them. But I think finally Glenn and them are fighting on a level playing field against anyone else, or maybe potentially have the advantage that Peugeot had, that the X-Ray Minis had when they were in the high altitude with their turbo engine. So let's see. I think it'll be. It's always good to see a South African.
I feel a bit robbed because, I mean, okay, yes, we've still got the stages, but if I go to the overall now, and it's just gone all stupid here in the overall. I mean, can't you just get a little electronic device to work? I mean, how stupid can it be? But the Audi are out of the overall, which is quite sad. Century
if the navigation's going to be as difficult as it's been on the bikes, and you've seen it, you never know. But I think Mathieu is really good. I actually met him this year in Andorra. We were watching a trials bike thing. I was there with one of my ex-teammates, and we bumped into him. And look, I think the guy is just as much of an athlete as any racing driver is as well. You know, I think he takes his job serious, very serious. I think him and NASA work together really well. And who's to say, you know, I think with anyone's successes, there's always going to be speculations with everything. And, you know, like you said, there's a lot of rumors going about that people are getting probably different information than other people. We can all speculate here, but, you know, if they got it right, that's kudos to them. Hopefully other guys get it right tomorrow and the fight can continue, because it would be sad if the Dakar is over now, day one or day two, stage 1B, for the rest of the race, because there's been such a gap between the bikes and the cars. It would be sad that that's the race over, you know. Like, if it's going to be this difficult day one, like I said to you, at least
it's going to get more
consistent and be as difficult all the way through.
But you don't want screw-ups, alleged screw-ups, might I say. Some say that there's a degree or two of issue in the road book. All I know is that as we speak, there are people in the stewards' offices, there are documents being prepared, there are legal eagles who are being briefed, the poo is hanging, the fan is on. Tomorrow we shall know if they do meet.
Well, you're going back to the old Formula One thing. I heard a rumor there were a bunch of helicopters helping people get to places. Like Formula One used to have a helicopter 10 k's away and 5 k's for when the rain's coming and all that sort of stuff, and helicopters flying and secretly doing stuff. Sounds like something's happening. It's going funny somewhere along the line.
A car got rebuilt on the stage and got to the end. Some guys got lost, some helicopters were there. There's massive time differences. What happened? Who knows? This is Dakar. This is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
But Steffi, we've got some highlights apparently, of your day, apart from being frazzled and having beautiful weather on the southern tip of this African continent somewhere. What is your highlight of the day? What are you going to take out of this as you sit quietly, looking at the moon, sipping on some grape juice?
I think the biggest takeout from today is that there's going to be no marathon stage. I'm sure there's a lot of very relieved people out there because they can't cull any more people from the field. So the whole thing is, without the marathon there, you know, it does change the whole face, even though today, for me today was a bit of a disaster. I'll just say that. You know, I think, like I said earlier, I think they've ripped the guts out and don't address it and sort it out in a veritable way. I think it's going to become a very, very difficult Dakar to actually put in a box. I'm just disappointed. We're not going to see the racing. I mean, Audi, Century, some of our biggest teams, never mind just South African, are not there anymore. And that's what we want to watch. That's what billions of people tune in to, this incredible rally race. It's the race.
Can I say, it's all is not lost. That, just wait, Dakar is notorious for twists and tails. It's like a viper. There's always a sting in the tail. And we don't know what's going to happen. All we know is that we've got some daily racing that we can look forward to, and some technical marvels, machines like this two-wheel drive Century with fat tires, like you were talking about Glen Hall's and Toyota Gazoo. It is a work of carbon fiber art. It is magnificent, these T1 trucks. And we've still got the fight with the pro drives, the Hunters, and I mean, they've got to come in there. Sebi Loeb, second overall now. Could it end up these 12 minutes? There's a Loeb Al Attiyah fight, a Glen Hall versus Dave Richards. The rival, it's still there, it's still alive. I think it's...
Yeah, but there's only 3 little Oaks fighting now instead of normally day 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's 20 guys.
We've got 20 guys within 6, 8 minutes of each other.
I'm saying
now we've got 3 guys within an hour.
Yeah.
I'm very hopeful that something gets sorted out with this, but...
Last year's Dakar was unfortunately, from my side, the same. It split up very quickly, especially in the car race. So let's hope it comes closer, what they need to do. I don't know, in my opinion, if I look at... I know I raced in America this year, but one thing they're good at is making racing exciting. And they
need a couple of safety cars.
They make it good in the end.
There you go.
So at least, I think at Dakar it's going to get boring. People are going to stop watching it if it's decided in the beginning. So it's the lesson's been learned now, maybe for years on. They let the stages progress the whole way through. So hopefully it gets better. But yeah, it would be interesting to see what happens. I'll be watching with keen eyes.
We did want to go through the results, but I got carried away, as I do. So let's, in the overall, the staged results for today, the overall we don't know. There's penalties, there's stuff, there's information that is not information, it's just data. NASA and Matthew, they have absolutely brilliant race, 12 minutes and 7 seconds ahead of Sebastian Loeb, and it's about time that you don't win 984 WRC stages without being a super quick driver. And I think it's Loeb's 5th race. I think he's going to be very good. Yazid in the X-Raid Mini. Who thought that the Minis would come into play in this thing? But he was 50 minutes behind. And then 4th position, Mr. Prokop in the Ford F-150 Ranger. I mean, so there's another thing. We've got a Ford up there, and then Luciano Alvarez in the overdrive, and there are a couple of others. Janelle de Villiers 8th, still running, but 32 minutes behind. He did have some issues, did get a flat, so that wasn't really cool. One of probably the South African, if I had to vote a South African in the cars driver of the day, has to go to Shami Variawa and Donnie Stassen.
So they were just behind Janelle. They were really close.
Hour and 4 minutes, 11th overall, phenomenal.
That's impressive.
Steady. It's Donnie is, I mean, he's a freaking character of note. It looks like he got his nav spot on, which is really cool. Coronel's down in 22nd, and then the right-hand drive Century, as opposed to all others except another 3 that were built, Chris Visser and Rodney Burke, an hour and 17. So there's some very nice tight gaps further on, apart from the ones at the top, but we'll leave that. And Ernst Roberts and Henry Cohen, 31st position, made it to the end. Absolutely brilliant. And as I do this...
What about Skalkberger?
We're getting there. Guess what position Skalkberger came in?
He finished
54th.
One time.
I mean, numbers are important to Skalk. So 54 is 5 and 4 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. And because it's his first Dakar, he's car number 271. There you go.
I thought that was the scale.
So Skalk and them coming in, I mean, phenomenal result. They beat Carlos Sainz today. So
That's one to write on your checklist.
damn straight. I mean, there are not many people who can say, on my first rally, I beat King Carlos on a stage. Henk Ladegan and Brett Cummings, the Smiler, 3 hours and 23 minutes they came in after removing portions of the earth and relocating it kilometers through the force of the right wheel of their Toyota. They moved the ground hard, it got broke, they got it fixed, they got back to the bivouac, and they did finish. So there's a whole lot, from during the day. Stefan Peter Hansel also came in 81st position, 23 hours and 30 minutes. But we're not going to go there. For daily updates, for the news as it happens, for breaking stuff, you've got to go to the Southern African Dakar group page that Steffi and Johan run so well. It's an absolute, it's a godsend. So Steffi, keep up the good work. There is a link in the description. Make that your go-to place for the day. Let's talk about tomorrow, and then I want to go on to old people and how old people and Dakar. Tomorrow, 3rd January, stage 2. Yes, I know but they're calling the first one a prologue. It's from Hail to Al Yeah, I know. But that's the stage. It's still there. It's still official. It's 339 Ks, so it will give them at the end of tomorrow a total of racing kilometers of 692. So there's massive dunes here. 63% of the event tomorrow, the stage, is in dunes. Rain in the dunes, we don't know what that's about. And we don't know what to expect. We can expect the unexpected. From yesterday, there was some questions about the oldest competitor in Dakar. We've had the youngest, Mason Klein. What a boy. He's in a 4x2 buggy. He's in a buggy. He came 27th today. Yeah. That's a legend. I'm going to follow my newfound friend, Jean-Pierre Strugo. But I must just say this. He's not the oldest oak who's ever ridden Dakar. For all you toppies out there, listen up here. So in 2021, Yoshimasha Sugawara, 73 years old, in a truck. But the oldest competitor of all time in Dakar is Marcel Hugani in a car, was 81 years old in 1995.
That's impressive.
That is impressive. That is a life goal. Yeah. To be that old and even, number one, have the dream, and number two, to actually do it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So if you want to just put some more questions out, we've got some stuff from Spaniard. There's some caps and some giveaways. I'll think of a proper question. We will ask the people who know. Now, Ian, Jordan, I'm told that there's strong plans for the Pepper family to be represented at Dakar. The question is, who's going to drive?
Look, I tell you,
My dad can't read, so he can't navigate.
I can see. Yeah.
Show us inside the cockpit what those screens look like.
But we can get you.
We need to get a bigger car. We can't go side by side bugging anymore.
They give me a GPS that big as your key to go do the desert race. I can't see here. I can see there, but I can't see here. Now, look, we spoke as a family a little bit, the Tasman, Jordan, and myself. Be fun to try and do it one day, and 2023 would be my 60th. Maybe it's a nice 60th birthday present. Take the whole family and to myself from me, and we got to clear it with Cheryl. She's the financial guru in this family, and
you do know.
And Auntie Cheryl, you know, if she doesn't think it's a good idea, then we're not going.
But you do know that she's somewhat influenced by your happiness.
No, she's influenced by her kids' happiness and a little bit by me.
It
I
would
don't know. It would be cool to try and do
I think
something.
the best thing you have to do, considering we won't have time, or my dad can spend the whole year driving, I don't know, a side-by-side, something like that I think will be cool. I think it's the best, most cost-effective way of doing it. It looks a hell of a fun, whatever you're doing it in. I think every class is competitive. The only thing I worry is, you know, that fight of who's going to navigate, who's going to drive. I think that's going to be a flip of the coin thing. But
Every morning we'll have to flip
I
a
think
coin.
what should happen is that you guys and of course Tasman need to come out to some of the SA cross country races.
We're going to do it with Stuart. We've spoken about it. Stuart wants Tasman to come and test a side-by-side and myself to see if it's something that we would like. But
That's Stuart Thompson from the world-class engineering team.
Yeah. And look, like Jordan said, I think that's the most cost-effective way, other than doing it on a bike, that you can go and do the Dakar. Look, maybe throw a spanner in the works. I'll follow them on a bike. Then I'll have a divorce or whatever. But
Last time you raced a
roll cage over what I did from now on.
Last time you raced a bike, you ended up walking around with crutches for many months.
sad thing is, I love going with the bikes. We've got a good team going with the Kawasaki's. We came out the blocks. We had it here last year.
Congratulations on winning what's the SA Endurance Championship?
Yeah, the South African Cross Country Championship. We won the 450 class and 3rd overall. And then we won the GXCC regional in Gauteng area.
I guess you upset a bit of the establishment.
Yeah, there were a couple of people that weren't too happy about it. But one thing that it has done is that it's brought another color back onto the grid. And it's growing, and we've got a good, I wouldn't say sister team, it's a family team in the CRT franchise company with Harry Grobler. And we managed to get Harry to take on Mark Pentecost, who won the championship, and I've got D'Artagnan Lopjoy there on the 450. So yeah, it's been a good thing. So we've got 2 full teams, and we should have about 18 bikes between us. But there's another manufacturer on the grid next year now.
Who's that?
I've heard the rumors around, and I know that it's going to happen. I won't tell you who the riders and stuff are until they do it, but there's Honda's come back.
How cool is that?
Okay, and there's 2 teams of Hondas out there now. So now we've got 4 manufacturers back, not just 2 manufacturers out there. We would love to see Yamaha get back into it. And then we've got the lot that should be, and it's a sport that's thriving at the moment. It is growing. Nationally it's growing, but regionally it's very good in Natal and up in Gauteng. We get up here 340 entries at a race meet.
Amazing the strength of regional racing. You know, we hear many decry the downfall of motorsport in this country. Regional rallies, regional cross-country, regional bike racing, it's thriving. And there's a gees there that is so lekker.
If that doesn't thrive, I think we all lost the plot about 5, 6, 8 years ago. Everybody worked on the pinnacle of the pyramid.
Yeah, you got to.
That started to crumble because there was no baseline. And if it's karting, it's motocross, it's cross country, it's circuit racing, you've got to go to the bottom and build a pyramid again. And I think over the last 4 or 5 years, the pyramid has started to being built. And people are starting to realize that you can go national racing in whatever form at a reasonable sort of cost. It's not out of everybody's grasp. So I think everybody's doing a good job at it. And unfortunately, it's the guys that are involved in each category that are themselves getting it together, and the riders and their parents and the sponsors and the old guys and whatever that are going there. So yes, let's just hope it keeps going where it is, and hopefully we have a few more Dakar riders going. I've heard the rumors as well with guys, with the manufacturers coming and getting involved, that there's probably 3 or 4 guys in the next 2 years that'll be going to Dakar again, youngsters again from South Africa. So
Steffi knows all about motorbikes and youngsters and plans, because Steffi, you get involved at a very early stage and a very early time of riders who, like you, the mom to help guys go to Dakar. So the strength of the kids coming through, what's it like?
You know what, Colin, it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we've already got 3 Zimbabweans going. We know they've just got to find the money. So Graham Sharp, who's been there before, so it's Team 263 Dakar from Zimbabwe. Please go and give their page a like. We've got Cam and Ash Thixton who are going to go with Graham. So I'm really very excited about them. And we've got others, but I'm not telling you who. It's a secret.
Oh, come on.
We'll keep it a secret.
Just tell us.
I know
Yeah, no,
five
we'll
more
just
that are
tell
going,
everybody. Yeah, now we know all of them. So,
And
it
nice
is
to
very
see you wearing
exciting.
your Kawasaki shirt. Steffi,
I did
final,
it especially for Ian.
Thank you,
final
Stevie.
thoughts on Dakar 2022, day number 2, the day of the shake-up.
There's just 2 things I want to just remind everybody. Hop onto our page because we're also running some really cool competitions, and we're trying to name John Kelly at the moment because we've got the Kalahari Ferrari, Rossi. We've got the Kalahari Madonna, Mr. Teapot, James Alexander. So JK's got to get a name. So he's the Kalahari ... So jump on there and go and have a look.
Joko.
Yeah, the Joker. We are having problems with our Insta page. The Insta What Powers What Be have shadow blocked us. So if you're just seeing not a lot of text there and just pictures, please just bear with us. We're trying to sort it out. And I'm looking forward to the first major chain of dunes tomorrow. I can't wait. And then of course they'll end up at El
Qasimi. Yeah.
There we go. We'll go
Anyway,
with that. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Awesome. Steffi, we'll see you tomorrow. Hang in there if you've got some more questions. I just want to go back to, we've got to wrap up and get out of here because we've been waffling for I've been waffling for a long, long time.
Not
Jordan,
like
you going to, thanks. You've got some proper racing plans sorted. We tried to, before, just be nice. Tell us, what are you going to race this year, Jordan?
Race cars. No, I'll be doing quite a lot again. Plans are quite solid already for this year. Going to be racing again in America. Hopefully expanding into a lot more racing over there as well. I enjoy the racing there, so going to try to do a lot more there. And look, the calendar's quite busy. I think anywhere between 15 and 20 races I've probably got planned this year from around the world, America and back in Europe, which is good. Last year I was just in America, so exciting stuff, really enjoying it. Things are happening a lot better each year, getting a lot more recognized, things are starting to fall in place, and it's been now 8 years out of South Africa actually, since I've last raced in South Africa, 8-9 years actually, so going on, I think it's actually on my 10th year, so 2012 was the last year in South Africa, so things are going well, really.
Time flies, eh?
I know, so, just living my dream. I'm motorsport passionate. I want to do everything and anything. I've came home here, I was racing my dad's bikes, actually did a
GXCC off-road race and finished second.
Yeah?
Yeah, just in second in Pro-Am, so it's fine. I'm very far.
I believe you went go-kart racing with a Van Linders.
I got kicked.
Come on.
Got my ass handed.
Fritzy, show us this picture. We've got to see this picture with the guys go-kart racing. Because, I mean, the gears that the South African tribe has got, you drivers over there, it's quite special.
Yeah, it's always good to it's always good to see so much South Africans supporting us, and we kind of spearheading in our industry a lot of people. Like, there's not many of us overseas right now, and I think there's a lot of young kids, and I've met a few kids while I've been here who aspire, and it's so nice to be.
Look there. There's so much of happiness and love there.
I know, and it's so nice to be finally that guy. I looked up to a lot of guys growing up, like the Michael Stevens, Lee Thompsons, Leroy Poulters, Robert Briggs, all those guys. And now I'm finally that point with kids looking up to me. And yeah, so I think it's been a great few years, and I just can't wait to make the next 10, 15 years of motorsport, wherever that may take me. I just want to race everything, and I want to one day be able to say I've achieved every single aspect. And like we said to you, Dakar is 100% one of our goals. Whether it's next year, 2 years' time, I'd love to do it with my dad, with my sister, be there as just one of our family members doing it would be great.
Absolutely. I love dreams of the kids is what stuff is made of, but apparently the sea and the grape juice is calling. Steffi, thank you so much for joining us. I know you had a frazzled day. I know it's been a long, long day. And for all your hard work, thank you. You've added to my life today. May the forces be with you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks so much, Colin, Ian, Jordan. Lovely chatting. I'm actually going to go and do radio now, guys. So that's why I actually have to love and leave you. Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow and catch up again on what happens on the next dramatic day at Dakar.
We look forward to it as well. But before, cheers, Steffi. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Steffi.
Before we wrap up, just
It's a
two
pleasure.
more things. Reigning Bathurst champion, the winner. If I was an organizer in Australia, I would have sent a gilded invitation.
Who to you?
No, if I was an organizer.
Look, the race is planned end of Feb. We know Australia freak out with this whole COVID situation more than any country, so they unfortunately cancelled the 2021 Bathurst, and you know, every driver will tell you that Bathurst ranks amongst the best on their calendar every year, and for me it's by far the best. I want to go back. I'm reigning champion, so whether it be this year, we hope it all goes ahead. Let's just say I should be there defending my title. I can't say what brand or car I'm driving, but we should have a very big shot at defending the title. But that race is like any other. It's got its own little gods there on the mountain that decide who does what. And you know, 2 years ago when we won it, it didn't look so good after qualifying. We were like, wow, what are we doing? And it paid off in the end, and we managed to win it. So let's see. Hopefully we'll be back there. If the race is happening, I'll definitely be there. So excited about that. And new challenge, definitely not going to be in a Bentley, which I know the people in Australia are not going to enjoy that, because the Thunder was always brought there down under. But let's see what happens. Looking forward to it. I just enjoy going racing. So every weekend I get to go racing for my job. I just love it. So hopefully,
living the dream.
Hopefully that's going to be one of the first few races. It won't be the first on the calendar for me, but also got some other cool races lined up.
Fabulous. We love following you, and all our drivers over there, and particularly the Kempton House and that gang. And
I tell you what, if you look at it, say following the kids, obviously you got the Binder boys, which are on top of everybody's list. Yeah. You got Jordan, you got Calvin, you got Sheldon, and the three clowns live together as far as Sean and I.
And now we're going to have Tasman over there again.
Hopefully, yes, and that's sort of on the cards.
Leon Woodendal.
Stephen
Woodendal, sorry.
Oh, Steve Woodendal, he's in the endurance bikes. But
you see how much
if you go back to the social media that these oaks are always on Instagram, something that really made me feel proud, that Geordie's my little boy and whatever, they posted on Instagram that they were playing Royal Joburg. So they booked it just as normal Joe Soap, the Funalinda boys and Jordan and them and Gennaro Bonafide, I think. And they went to go and play them, and they got there. The guy that runs the club, his surname's actually Bentley. So they did a thing with Bentley there last year. He gave them a free game of golf, and the lady that gave it in to them, she's a big Bentley fan, so Geordie gave her a shirt. But when they went to halfway, there's a little guy comes with his dad. He saw it on Instagram that Jordan and Calvin and Sheldon were at Royal. They made his dad bring him to the Royal course to wait to get a signature from these three guys.
There's a racer for the future.
Yeah, it's a little oak. I don't know how big he was.
No, it's like in his teens, but still,
he's in his teens.
It's cool. I enjoy it. Like,
because you were that guy.
I was always a fan. I used to hang around the track, and I enjoyed it when I went to speak to someone and they were able to speak to me back. There's a lot of people that I met that turned away from me, and I'll never support them again. So I never want to be that person to anyone, you know. I will try and make as much time as I can, no matter how. I'm never going to get F1 famous or anything like that, but I just want to be able to enjoy my motorsport career to the age of my dad, you know. Like you said, he's turning 60 in 2 years' time, and he's still in the sport. He loves it. He puts so much into the sport, and it's because obviously the sport gave him so much. And I want to be at that age. I want to share it one day with hopefully my kids as well. You know, it's a sport that flows through all of our blood, and you know, I've made it my job, which is awesome, but it's also something that I'm passionate about. So
I love that commitment. You brought them up good.
Their mom did.
And you going
my driving abilities from my dad.
I think the talent comes from Cheryl's side of the family.
Well, you going riding with Kawasaki again this year?
Yes.
Good luck. Bring another championship back.
We're going to try and defend that championship, and then obviously try the OR3, because we've only got 2 bikes. None of us can compete in the OR2 350 class. We don't have bikes. But I tell you what, we're going to go and fight Husqvarna and Devin Cocker to try and dethrone him. That kid is something special. I'd like to see him get to Dakar one day. I think
Devin Cocker, it's
Devin
a name.
Cocker.
Remember that name.
No, that is special. We've got kids that can beat him. We've got Tucky, who can run with him at the moment, but I think Devin is something very, very special. And we've got King Kenny Gilbert back in the senior class with us
There you
this
go.
year.
Very senior.
Yeah, he's in the senior class, yeah. So, and Wyatt Avis in the senior class. So, yeah, we've got a good bunch of guys out there. And we're there as a family. Both teams are run family orientated. So, yeah, let's go and have some fun.
Awesome. Father and son, Jordan and Ian Pepper, thank you so much for taking your time out. Jordan is an international superstar racing driver, and I'd say that with the greatest of respect. And I truly mean it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming. Ian, look after your kids, and we look forward to seeing you again. You are a natural at this. The door is open. Anytime you want to come and talk knowledgeably about motorbikes, you are so welcome.
No problem. It's just a
world.
passion of mine, so it's good fun. Only thing is, I hope this year we can actually get overseas somehow to go and watch Jordan ply his trade, and then if Tassie's back in W Series, that we get there to watch something. But it's been very frustrating not being able to do it, and it's one of Cheryl's passions is to go over, and she makes a 2-week road trip out of things to go and watch, and that's hopefully it comes together that we can actually travel. Us from here with our kids over there, we see them once a year at the moment for a month, and it's not enough. So
be brilliant if you can. And for all of you who stuck around for this extended version of the Race Day Dakar show, thank you very much. Reminder that this is the Vatswaye studio in Pretoria, still under skies of thunder and pouring rain. And just a huge thank you to Peter, Fritz and Henk. And to all of you who watched, thank you very much. Remember, be lekker, be kind. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one. Cheers.
cheers, everybody. Thank you.
I truly mean this. Thank you. No.